Hi, I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and this week Cape Fear reminded me that some scars run deep.
I'm Dave Gray, and this week I learned that if your mom's friends with big lawyers, they can get you out even if you shoot a man in front of like a whole crowd of like cameras. That's pretty nice. And this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Minnesota.
Yeah, this is our Cape Fear minisode for episode 9, The Scar. God, I'm trying to think of how to recap this one. I mean, we don't usually recap much. We just discuss our views.
No, but I mean, it's. I think like people listening to his minisodes, I hope they do get the gist. We're pretty spoilery because obviously the episode itself and everything that has led up to this.
This is one of those ones that's hard not to because it's very intricate, and if you try to talk around it, it's just going to be confusing.
Yeah.
So this episode starts. Tom is in prison. Natalie is in juvie. The son, whose name I can never remember because
Zach,
right, Zach, because I don't give a fuck about his shit, is in a psych ward with no security at all, despite repeated violent actions, but whatever. And Anna is on a road trip to the Cape Fear River for a show called Cape Fear, based on a franchise that most action takes place on the Cape Fear. We've only seen the river twice in 9 episodes, which is interesting. Not a judgment, just a comment.
I thought I might be misremembering, but I thought both of the film versions anyway, like it heads towards there for the finale. So I expected this to come in towards the end if they were sort of following that structure.
I don't remember if they're on a houseboat in the book, but they're on a houseboat in both the movies at the end. So, and
yes,
the way this ended, they will be for the TV series also.
Yeah.
So, I like this. Okay. This was my least favorite episode.
Oh,
I just found the reveals lesser. Like, I don't care about random kid. So the whole, he is like, okay, every child we've seen has been a Katie. I don't like at this point, it's like, and am I supposed to be surprised by this? Max's stepmom is just, she's there. But the doll kind of made me giggle. I will say I still like the cast. I still think I've brain farted on the whole cast. Everybody that's in it. I still think they're all mostly good. And they did some really heavy lifting in this episode. Ron Perlman shows up and he's creepy as fuck. Again, Javier Bardem's really good. Creepy as fuck. And he went full evil. I think that's why Craig isn't here with us this week. Because he was trying to hold out hope that Max Cady wasn't behind everything.
Well, that was actually the point that I really liked, and I discussed it with Vicky. Now you do get an apparent reveal in this episode that does that, and then I'm like, but that character was just trying to ensure that Katie comes along. So I'm still not buying into that. Do you know what I mean? But they've definitely, I think they've kept the seeds there for allowing themselves wiggle room to go either way. Personally, but I was sort of taken aback, and then I'm like, actually, it's all a plot to make sure Katie comes along.
Yeah, I mean it could be, but it's so elaborate at this point with so many moving pieces that it's just like it could be that. I don't think it's going to be, especially after the phone call at the end, or it's in the middle of the episode. With Nevaeh, I don't think they're going to go there, but maybe. Lily Collius is still really good. Her scenes in the detention center. She's really strong in those. Amy Adams is good. So, I'm enjoying it. Again, the son is the weak bit, and they waste the guy playing his shrink, who I mentioned last week, but for some reason I forgot to pull up a cast list this time, so I can't think of his name. I can
The
see his
guy who I
face
keep
clearly.
calling Mulholland Drive dumpster dude.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Mulholland Drive dumpster dude. It's uh I'll think of it like 10 minutes from now while like walking down the street, and I'll just start shouting his name, and folks will be like, "What the fuck are you talking?" And I'll be like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Go." um yeah, it has not been a bad it was not a bad Patrick Fischler. That's it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Um yeah, it wasn't a bad episode. I just feel that like everything up to this has been really driving, and now we're in the denouement phase, you know?
Mhm.
So it's going to start slowing down a bit and getting a little bit more convoluted. And I think that was my problem. It's a bit of a mess at this point to be like, well, now we'll add more shit. But there were breakfast beers, and more TV shows need breakfast beers.
I think I loved this episode in general, but the two things that I didn't like were um you have Amy Adams playing her character like quite quickly and easily succumbing again to her. She's stayed sober for many years, and I
17
mentioned
years.
that yeah, when she had that drink the other week, there was a really good scene between her and Lily Collier. It was a really good conversation that wasn't um, was kind of nicely non-aggressive but very unexpected because it was mother and child but having this conversation as equals. And then like to go back to it so quickly, like just buy the drink and slip it down behind the stool or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I know she's worn down, and I know those of you that that's that could be how her mind is with everything that's going on, and she wants to sink back to that. But I thought it would have been better if they'd shown the the kind of fault line last time, and now she's on the attempt to fight back, the strength growing again. So she either or she sat there drinking, and then later on you realise that she's just been putting apple juice in it or something.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting that. So that was one thing. The other thing is now I know that we would all do pretty much anything Javier Bardem asks of us because he's Javier Bardem and awesome. But
Yeah.
I still don't quite get how this Max Cady has this like power to send these tendrils all around the nation and have people working with him. Like he's essentially a cult leader at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I had an issue with when they explain about the ex, the woman that kills herself in the first episode. It's like, oh, really? Huh? Like I'd understand it maybe if it was young Ron Perlman, and nothing against Javier Bardem. He's awesome, but I don't buy Max having this kind of pull and power, especially from inside the
Yeah, like
prison.
it's believable when he has a conversation with Tom. I really like that. I really like the sort of the pressure he's putting him under and how he's pushing his buttons. Like I liked seeing that kind of thing working. I'm like, if he found everyone's button, like if you saw him finding everyone's button and leveraging it, that's that's something else and is great. But you don't. You've seen some people he's barely keeping a hold over, and you see others that are just like blindly loyal to him forever because that's just what the plot needs. I was
Yeah,
like, I don't buy every part. The parts that I did buy were all the better for having shown how he keeps, he's wheedling, he's bullying, he's persuading, he's charming, and then go to the violence. And it's great. I mean, even I know you would be admiring of the fact that he couldn't even really outglare CCH Pounder with
Yes,
her thing, but
and
he has nothing else against her, and she gave no fucks
yeah,
facing up to
you cannot. Nobody can outglare CCH Pounder. You
him.
can't fucking do it.
I mean, that was a
It's what
great scene.
it was a great scene. It was one of
Yeah.
the best for me, and I think that's my problem. There were some good scenes. The CCH Pounder scene was excellent. The scene, um, I wasn't as big on the confrontation in the prison as you were, but the scene with at the Max's parents' house was really good.
Yeah.
But then I felt that other scenes were too clumsy. I thought the prison confrontation was too clumsy. Maybe if they'd had that after he got the package, uh, maybe it would have worked better for me. I just instead it felt a little too mustache twirly.
That on its own wasn't a highlight for me, but you kind of saw it building up throughout the episode. That's why I liked
Yeah.
that. Like you
Okay.
saw him turning the screws on Tom. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not just that one confrontation. It's he knows exactly where to dig in and keep working at him.
I get that. I get that view. I just feel that if they'd reordered it a bit, it would have for me it would have landed better. And again, the Nevea reveal, that whole phone conversation of just now we're going to have an exposition dump
Hmm.
because we need to have an exposition dump. Uh, that turned me off. Besides that, I mostly was on board with this episode, but when it went wrong, it went a little too wrong for me.
I tell you what took me out the most though, Dave, and I'm sure you have the same viewpoint over in America. Tom's in his little cell. Like, how many calls did he make on that tiny Nokia? Because that battery
Oh my
should have
god,
lasted at least 2 months.
at least
Like
two
those
months. Yeah,
things were going
yeah,
and going and going.
yeah. That was a bit. That was a bit that broke reality for me because yeah,
I said that
that
to Vicky. I
Nokia
was like,
battery.
remember, yeah, you used to have to charge him about once a fortnight if you were lucky when you had little Nokia. Oh, the happy days of not always rushing somewhere to get a PowerPoint for your phone battery.
Yeah, but I mean, you could only use your phone for like 2 hours when you had free minutes. You know, I mean, I
Well,
remember those days too. That was
oh,
the same
please,
days.
Dave, you could play Snake, unlimited Snake, all the
Could
time
play
on your
Unlimited
phone.
Snake. My Nokia like that, I could play Castlevania.
Oh,
I got
nice. I
really good
never
at
had that
playing.
advanced.
Yeah, I got really good at playing Castlevania with one hand, which was it. You know, that's a brag. That is not even a humble brag. I am very on that. That is one of my proudest skills. I don't know if I still have it. I probably don't. Now
Before
I'm
I
sad.
forget, did you like Juliette Lewis for this one? Like I liked her. I thought she was
Yes.
entertainingly constantly twitchy
Yeah.
and conniving.
Yeah. Well, Juliette Lewis is one of the few actors that can do the whole sliding scale on a dime and come off well and
Hmm.
convincingly. Uh, I know a lot of folks really liked Yellow Jackets. I was not as much of a fan, only because the adult story was just too goofy for me. I enjoyed the kids for the most part. There were interesting things for the adults, but it should have been a one and done. And the longer it dragged out, the more I went, "Oh, guys, that's what you're doing." And that show showed that most of that cast could not do the slide into crazy on a dime. Juliette Lewis can, and oh, you know who I'm thinking of, and I'm brain farting with the big doe eyes.
Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci, yes. Who I usually adore and I can remember at all times, but I couldn't just now. It's too early for me. I haven't had enough coffee. Like they can do it, but the rest of the cast could not, and it kept asking the others to do it, which hurt the show for me. But she does it well, and she does it great here, and she plays a whole spectrum of crazy attitudes from the picking up Anna in a bar to begging her son to murder someone on a boat. It's good to see her. I'm happy to see Juliette Lewis get so much more work over the last few years on TV and stuff because it'd been a long while since I'd seen her pop up in anything.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen her much. I've not really seen um, probably much of the TV work she's done. I saw her in that Over Your Dead Body. She was
Yeah,
she was pretty good in that, but I can't recall. much else from the past few years.
Yeah. I mean, I like she's popped up and stuff, but yeah, I'm glad to see her get some strong performances on goofier goofier TV shows. Like she was on oh, what the fuck is it called? The Chippendales show. Welcome to Chippendales on I don't know what's on over there. Here it was on Hulu, so it's probably just Disney.
Yes, I think it is
Yeah.
on Disney Plus here.
Yeah, that I haven't watched that yet, but I know she's in it as like a composite character, so she pops up a lot. With Anna Lee Ashford, who I also adore. I'm also glad that she's having a nice little career increase over the last couple years, even if it's mostly TV stuff. That is on my list eventually. But yeah, I'm happy to see her pop up and stuff because it'd been a good chunk of time since she did anything that was on my radar, which of course could just be saying bad shit about the things you guys make me watch. I'm just, just saying it could be y'all's fault. But she was really good in this. Uh and Perlman was really good in this. So I'm glad to see them popping up. All of the, you know, secondary and third tier actors in the series have really brought it overall. I don't think any of them have been very weak. And neither's the main cast. And it's just nice to see something where everybody brings their A game to something. Because this is, let's be honest, this is not high quality television. This is not, you know, appointment television. This is not, oh, this is going to look great on my resume television. This is a cheesy B thriller series, and I love it for that. I think that's the thing. I keep hearing folks talk bad about this show, like they expect it to be, Game of Thrones, which to me, Game of Thrones is cheesy shit. So the fact that people act like that's high tier cinema, I'm kind of confused by, but whatever. I'm here for the cheesy shit. I don't think everything needs to be, prestige.
It's glossy and trashy, and we've
Mhm.
had quite a few shows like that before. But the the writing and performances are so good, and I don't think I'm trying to think back over the past 8 or 9 episodes. I don't think any one of them has felt like a complete filler episode, which you
No.
often have to put up with this kind of show. I think there's always been at least some interesting development or progression. And even as I said to you a while ago, it might have been the weird time flip where I had to send an audio, but there's one of the episodes where it began with a flashback to prison, Katie in prison, and my immediate thought was, oh, is this the full flashback episode? Because that's become a staple of this sort of thing. And it wasn't. You had bits of that through it, but you had other stuff still going forward. I think that's a real strength of the show. And it's a big sort of plus point that too many people overlook because superficially they think it's probably just like any other kind of glossy big name show that they've watched over the past few years.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I do think this was the worst episode for me, but I am still fully on board for what happens next.
Yeah, I hope they, as they say, stick the landing.
Yeah. As always, you can find us on Instagram, Raiders _of_the_ podcast. You can find us on, okay, you can find Kevin himself on Mastodon, or you can find Raiders on Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube. I think we're on Threads also. I got to double check with T. He said he might do that, but then, I stopped paying attention to most things. And YouTube. So we're all over the place. And you can hear us every week, sometimes twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, Kevin. I'll talk to you when we bring this home next week.
Yeah, thanks, man. Catch you later.
Later.